Alright guys, I am excited about today's video. We've got a brand new Yeezy model and hey, this one just might surprise you. This is definitely an interesting sneaker for a few reasons. I also think it's a clear sign of what Yeezy brand is trying to accomplish with the future of their sneakers. So let's break them open, let's break them down. Today we're taking a look at the Yeezy Knit Basketball Slate Blue. Okay, we've got a different Yeezy box, or somewhat different. It's pretty much the same in terms of the construction, but you got basketball abbreviated on the top, and on the side, instead of boost, you've got knit. Other than that, it's relatively the same as you would expect from a Yeezy box, so let's pull them open. Today's pair of sneakers, guys, the Yeezy Knit Basketball Slate Blue. So here we go, the latest performance basketball sneaker from Yeezy brand, and the first thing you'll kind of notice is obviously the design cues that have been taken from the previous version, the Quantum. The Yeezy Quantum was the first Yeezy sneaker kind of made for performance basketball, and I guess this is the next iteration. They were also pretty chunky and pretty heavy, which led most people to kind of wear them as lifestyle sneakers, but I feel like this one definitely changes on that. It seems to be a lot more applicable to basketball. It just seems like a lot more of a performance sneaker, and when you feel it and feel around, it's actually a lot more complex than at least I initially thought. Of course, we'll be getting into all of the details, but first let me give you some release specifics. So these actually had a shock drop back in November. Now it was very small, only Yeezy supply exclusive. However, as for a future release date, apparently these are rumored to drop this month here in December, so we're gonna have to wait and find out. Either way, what is this sneaker all about? What is it made out of, and is it something that you even want to be paying attention to? Well, let's start with that most familiar point, the midsole. Again, taking a lot of design from the Yeezy Quantum. It stays true to the boost technology, same thing all the way, full length boost. Now you can see underneath is the Adidas LEP system, which is a part of the midsole technology to kind of help with the rigidity of the shoes for when you're running. Now around towards the back or the heel of the sneaker, you can see the huge heel tab, which is something that the Quantums had as well for extra support. Now, a really interesting thing is this is still reflective. Not just that, but also woven into the knit upper of this sneaker is also reflective. Now this knit upper is one of the more interesting knit constructions that I've ever seen. Like, it is pretty complex. There's a bunch of different patterns, and in fact it's almost raised in some areas, so it's got a very interesting texture to it. There's just a lot going on with this knit. Now this is called the Slate Blue colorway, and a lot of the kind of early or rendered images of this pair of sneakers were very blue. However, in hand it's more of a grayish color, very slight tinge of blue. I mean, honestly, the complexity of this knit is super cool. Definitely something I'm quite a fan of because it doesn't just look really cool, but it also feels really cool as well. Now at first, before getting this in hand, I originally thought, okay, it's just a knit up or something similar to the Yeezy 350. However, when you feel it, it's a lot more structured and there's definitely a lot more material inside to give extra support. The laces are looped into the knit material itself, something that we saw on the Yeezy 450. I don't know how great that is for a performance sneaker and how that's going to hold up in terms of durability, but it definitely looks pretty cool. Now the interesting details get even more interesting when you get to this sock extended portion. This sock-like ankle area kind of reminds me of like a Kobe 9 or a Kobe 10, you know, the ones that have the high top version, and it definitely looks pretty strange, not just in hand but also on foot. Now I will say that this material is incredibly stretchy. However, your entry into this sneaker, in fact, let me just say this outright as a huge disclaimer on the Yeezy Knit Basketball, this is the hardest sneaker I have ever tried to get my foot into. Like, no joke, I struggled for a good few minutes trying to get my foot in. I almost gave up and just assumed I wasn't getting my foot in this pair of sneakers. I went with the true to size, something that I always get Yeezys in, which is technically a half size up, but either way, it's extremely tight. Not just getting your foot in, which is almost impossible, but when your foot is in here, there's a lot of material, a lot more material than I originally thought. This upper is not actually all that stretchy, and you stick your hand in there and you feel there's a bunch of other material, including a bunch of other padding similar to what was on the Quantums in terms of how it feels, that stops you from sticking your foot in there. Now honestly, overall, I like the way that these look, except for the top portion. Like, if this was even a mid-cut, just a mid-cut, you removed some of this, didn't make it as high, I would think this looked like a really solid pair of sneakers. However, because it has this extended portion, I feel like it looks a little bit odd. Now again, this is predominantly for performance basketball, so it's a little bit hard to judge it from a lifestyle standpoint. If you're going to be wearing this on court, that's a whole different topic, but as something you want to wear around, I feel like it's just a little bit strange. Another downside of this pair of sneakers as well is the price point at $260, which again is pretty steep, something a lot more similar to the original Quantums. But that pretty much wraps it up for the Yeezy Basketball knit sneaker. What do you think of this sneaker? Let me know down in the comment section. What do you think of the future of basketball sneakers from Yeezy brand? I'd love to know your thoughts down there, but like I said, that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then,